So today I am using a Holtz Nordic Winter Sizzix die to emboss. And I don't have that many embossing folders, so I was going through all my dies trying to see what can I use to kind of give my Christmas cards some texture. And this was the perfect die. But of course, once I got it out, I had to start cutting on it. And so then I got distracted from the project I was working on and started working on this die. And I had so much fun. So I had a piece of brown glitter paper, and the pack is actually Paper Studio from Hobby Lobby. It's a huge pack. You get a ton of paper, and it will last you forever if you're looking for some good glitter paper. So anyways, that's what I was working on, cutting the little designs out. And I sat them on top of the embossed image of themselves, and they just popped and looked so pretty. This card, I believe I only did a few. It looks better in person than it does on my screen, but it is so pretty. It's almost like it's quilted behind it. And then the images are glitter, and there's room on it if you would like to put a sentiment like a Merry Christmas, or it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Here I pull out my new Queen & Company stitch die. I think it was from Foundation Set 2. And this die actually is the exact size of an A2 card. What is that? 4¼ by 5½. So it will cover your entire card front if you want, if you're doing A2, or you can use it, on a little bit larger card. I kind of just cut my cards to fit what I like. Like this is Paper Studio, the craft card, and it's a pre-made card. It's just easier for me to cut it the size I need, and it comes, I believe it's a 5 by 7. So get out my trusty ATG gun, which with every use I love more and more. And since it was craft and since the paper was embossed, I went ahead and put some glue on it as well. So the embossing plate that I use, let's see, there's like a silicone mat, and then there's a white colored embossing plate. So that's how I use, and I use my extended Sizzix plate or tray because that's what came with my Big Shot when I purchased it. I play around a little bit because I was not planning on making a video. I was really just playing, but things came together so quickly and so nice that I just wanted to share. I feel like other people have the same problem that I have, where you buy all these dies and then you don't have enough time to use them. And then when you think, oh, I'm going to use them, you try to look up a video and there's not much to choose from. So I thought this might be one that not many people will watch, but if it helps 1 or 2 people, that's my goal. Just help people out. And it also might encourage people to purchase. This was very handy. This little, I'm not sure what this foam mat is called, but it's in the Sizzix tools, and it helps get all the die pieces off the cardstock and out of the actual die. This is a very ornate die. Oh, by the way, I looked it up online because Sizzix sent me an email. If you like their dies, get on their email list. They're having a sale, 50% up to 50% off certain designers today. This actual die is on sale for $8.50. I think it's normally around $16. So I saw it available on Etsy for a very similar price. You might get cheaper shipping, but at Sizzix, if you buy enough, which I always do, you get free shipping. So that was Sizzix paper, and I liked it, but I didn't love it. So I still wanted people to see what it would look like with an iridescent-y cream colored paper behind that gray. It was very pretty, but just not what I was going for. And this is my Kaiser craft paper. I can't remember the name of it. I show it, I think maybe Merry and Bright. So it is a green wood grain pattern. It's so unique. I love it. So I thought that would be cool with the deer, seeing as how they're in craft and they're kind of in the woods. And it just, I don't know, it really went well. So that was what I chose for the background. And you could use plain green paper. You could just stick it straight on the craft cardstock. I was just trying to get a little pop of color because my card was so neutral. But I'm thrilled with the way these turned out, and kind of disappointed in myself for not getting it out before now. So, but you know, time is always, we never have enough of it. But with being indoors and my daughter's doing virtual school, so I have to be within earshot. Sometimes you will see, oh, I gave it a little black edge with just a Dick Blick marker, just a permanent marker, and it has a nice paintbrush tip, so it made it easy. A chisel tip would work too. It has both, but I can't recommend markers because I don't do enough coloring. For the little bit of coloring I do, these work, but they're not like what I see with the Copic markers, with all the blending and all the fabulous colors. So maybe one day I will pick up the Copics, but for now, those work great. You know, honestly, I think Crayola would work good. So for as little as I use, you know, I do have a watercolor set that is a marker, and I tend to have very good luck with that because when I need to shade, all I have to do is get a wet paintbrush. So I really fast forwarded the gluing because I kind of thought that would annoy people. It would be boring. And I didn't want people to have to fast forward. I kind of wanted you to see how quickly it came together. And I found this incredibly soothing. I was doing this yesterday. I was tired from Halloween, and to just have these beautiful pieces of paper to stick down. Now, granted, I didn't have a time frame I was working with, but they were very easy. You sit them on, they kind of, if you use liquid glue, they kind of nuzzle right into position, and it was very simple. And I'm using my Tim Holtz Distress Medium Matte. I don't know why I have a hard time with that name, but his glue. Just, I continue. I keep thinking, oh, well, that one looks good. Oh, well, I'll add one over here. Well, that looks good. Well, now this spot needs a place. But this wound up turning into my favorite card. At the end, you're going to see I have a lot of pieces left over. So I thought about it, and I didn't do anything with the pieces. A lot of times I'll push things to the side and just kind of think on them. What could I do with these? I wound up making some tags and additional cards, and they are hands down my favorite. They're very clean, very simple, super fast. If you don't have a lot of time to do cards and you have this die, I'm going to make a second video, and I will post it shortly after this because I recorded. I just need to kind of edit stuff out and put a voiceover on it. And it'll be short. It'll be maybe like between 10 and 15 minutes. I mean, I whipped it out fast. It was awesome. And actually, they were so cute. I came upstairs and my daughter had a break, and she wound up stealing one from me. So that's always the highest compliment. She's 9, and she said, "Mommy, I love that we have the same taste." So sweet. So I needed a few extra trees. There's a little tree down there in that left corner, my favorite tree. I was just putting it on everything, and I needed to run off another one. But there was no plan. It was just actual playing with this. And if you have it, just run it across a few of your favorite colors of cardstock. You don't even have to use the glitter, because I know everybody's not a fan. You could ink your cardstock, and that would be so lovely. I was just doing fast and easy. There is a video where a man did an inking, and it is absolutely gorgeous. So many options with this die. And here I measure. I'm not exactly sure the measurements that I got, but I wrote them down so you could pause it and take a peek. But like, I just really eyeball. I'll use a standard card, and then I will cut it down to whatever I feel like it looks best. And I do as well an A2 card. But with this die, you need to be careful when you trim around the edges. It doesn't cut its own edge, which you could really do a lot with that, because it doesn't. You could just keep repeating it. But because it doesn't cut its own edge, you need to cut an edge. And you just need to make sure you line it up really good, which is very simple to do. So just cleaning out the little pieces. It does have some teeny tiny pieces you have to get your die pick out for. So I had the gray and the red and the white. I make some black. I just was pulling out Christmas colors. I was really trying to use that piece of cream shiny cardstock, but it just was not in the cards for that piece of paper today. So that is just a standard piece of white paper that I ran through because I wanted to see what the deer looked like in white. And after I saw it, I thought, well, this is going on a card front. And it just took a minimal amount of glue. So I go around the edges when I glue to make sure the edges stay down. And then I'll put a little bit on the areas where it's not die cut. So the actual paper, the blank spots on the back side, and it's really adhered well. But I use the Tim Holtz glue. I don't know about other glues. As the video goes on, you'll notice more and more of those little paper pieces. But I use the deer every single time. I just love the deer. Yeah, see, just sporadically put tiny dots and it's stuck down. You don't want to use too much because it might seep out, but I didn't have a problem with that, just using tiny dots. And it looks nice, just the red and white. It was so much fun to play with. And I found it easier when I was gluing to put the glue on the body on the card front and then do your little antlers just in your hand. And then you don't get glue all over your fingers, and it settles in the little deer body really easy. And I go back and forth with that little house. I think I chose black. It's funny, I just made these, and I'm still like, because I was in so many different colors of cardstock. See, it looks good like that, just red. And I could have put sentiments on the front, but I was trying to do this as fast as I could, and then other people can, if they're inspired by this, they can embellish how they choose, and I may go back and embellish. But surprisingly, I thought that the deer would look fantastic in silver glitter. I don't know if it was the light from my camera or what, but the background, they kind of got lost in the silver, but the brown glitter they popped. Now, but the brown glitter I used embossed paper, embossed with the Nordic dye. So just see how easy that is. Run your main card front color, pop the pieces out, then pick a backing, and if you want, you can add the deer or the trees or the houses or the birds or the snowflakes, whichever you choose. In this one, I put a few little stars in the corner. I don't know if you can see that, but I look at it because I debate, should I or shouldn't I? I wanted people to see what it looked like with the house. I mean, it looks cute. But if you see it in person, I ran it through to emboss it. Only run it through once to emboss, or it will cut. And it gives a really great impression. So then I wanted to see that gray. I was insistent I use that gray. And I thought that the white, black, and gray would look nice. I know that black is in a lot of the paper packs this year. So I thought, let's do a black one and give people the option, since that's kind of a popular color this year. Just get your little stray pieces out. A little bit of glue. You know, I didn't think of this. If you did this on top of sticky adhesive paper, then all of those pieces would be adhesive, and that would be adhesive, and you could lay it right down. That might make things simpler. I tend to like glue because it's more forgiving. That card I initially pulled out was not a standard A2 size, so that may have been one that I trimmed down. But this is one that I made with my Nina Solar White paper. It's 80-pound cardstock. I love that cardstock. See, it looks gorgeous like that. And then I thought, oh, I'll do the silver deer. So you'll see what this looks like. It kind of got lost. But then I had all these silver glitter deer. And I wind up using that on the next video, where I just used the little die cuts. And if ever there's anything in the video that you're not sure what I used, just leave it in the comments. I'm happy to respond. And if there's ever any feedback, like slow it down, speed it up, that's appreciated as well. And it is also appreciated when people subscribe, because then I know, hey, there's others out there that have the same style as me. I like that. I continue to mess around with trying to put a house on that card, but I never do. Oh. And I may make that silver a card front. I don't know. That silver glitter, that's a lot of glitter, though. See, they kind of get lost. They're pretty, but they kind of get lost. And then the white, just plain white cardstock, nothing fancy, just plain white. Popped like you wouldn't believe, so that was what I go with. But I wanted you guys to see, because somebody might not like the white and might prefer the glitter. So this gives you an option. See how the little antlers just line up, the little feet line up, the little antlers line up, and they're really stuck very well onto my cardstock. And I'm using the tiniest amount of glue. I squeeze a little on one of the parts of the antler and then kind of drag it around to the other part. So look at that, 4 cards, fantastic, ready for Christmas. I will show a picture at the end. Thanks for watching. Click subscribe.